Year 5 to extend and deepen, which means we've not looked at this text, but we do know that it is about Wordsmith Wendy. It's all about our vocabulary understanding and reading around the word, reading the sentence, and understanding something, and trying to work out and maybe just plausibly work out what the word could mean. As we go through Year 5, we'll change. We'll look at the language, so similes, metaphors, how it makes you feel. But we need to broaden our vocabulary first. So we've got that text here. Pause the video. I'm not going to read it to you now, so pause the video and have a read through this text, and then you can have a look at these questions. So the first one is assembled. So assembled, to assemble something. Now I don't know if I'm going to have enough room on this one. I might have to get a bit creative here. To assembled something means to build. So you assemble your IKEA, your flat pack, you assemble your Lego. To assemble simply means to build, and I believe it is somewhere about having to build the habitats themselves, isn't it? There we go. The habitat will have to be sent to the moon in pieces and assembled by the explorers once they arrive, so built by the explorers. The next one, airlock, I think is quite a tricky one. Airlock's down here. Any moon habitat must have an airlock. The airlock is a small room between the door to the outside and the door to the inside. So airlock is an area that, and I'll write it, an area or room that has between. It's a bit of retrieval, this actually, which is between. Actually, I won't write it out. Really, you need to kind of retrieve. It's almost a retrieval of this bit here, isn't it? If you write that out, I think that's a fair description of a fair definition of an airlock, without going into too much more detail. So I think retrieving that, I think, would work perfectly fine for this one. Number 3, varies. Now, there's a lot of words you should, we've got the word variable, variety. I like to think we know what varies means. If something varies, it changes. There's a range of things, isn't it? And it's over here. There is no air on the moon, and the temperature varies from that to that. So if it varies, it changes. It changes at multiple, or it can have multiple options to it. Habitat. I'd like to think we know what habitat is in Year 5. I'm sure you learned about habitats down in Key Stage 1. It's here. The habitat will have to be cooled during the moon day and heated during the moon night. So the habitat is where something lives, isn't it? There you go. Where something lives, or where somebody lives, because it can be animal. Well, we're animals. Get rid of that one. If something's harsh, you've probably heard this word. Just trying to skim and find where it is on here. But if something's harsh, I'm just trying to see whether. Trying to find where it's gone. I can't find it right now. I can't find. But if something's harsh, it means that it's here it is. No atmosphere needs no protection from the sun's harsh radiation. So harsh means it's sometimes you could say, I suppose, harsh, it means powerful. Harsh can be cruel. So harsh is a negative word, but powerful and cruel, you can say something harshly, which is normally said powerfully and cruelly. So I think powerful and cruel, I think, is a fair way of explaining what harsh is. Fahrenheit, I've pulled that one in there as a, oh my gosh, what is that? Fahrenheit is simply your unit of measure. For temperature. So unit of measure for temperature, because you can have Fahrenheit, you can have Celsius as well. You've got both from here, you've got Fahrenheit and Celsius, look. So good. To prove it, looking at the two texts from this week, what age range do you think each text is aimed at? So the one about Everest, and you've got the one about, I'm just going to put the moon one here. Reading this one, I think there's less words, less vocabulary that is unknown. Okay, I think it's nice and clear. I'm going to say that this text here, for the moon, is probably aimed at your Key Stage 2. Maybe Year 4s, Year 5s potentially. Then the Everest one, you know, you're just looking at some of the vocabulary in there, and you can flick back to it. I'm going to say also Key Stage 2, certainly a young adult. So I'm saying like Year 6, Year 7, Year 8 kind of thing. So like I'm going to get like 11 to 14. I'm going to go for with that one, and that's purely for the language, the vocabulary being used, and also the length of it being used as well. That's purely out of curiosity. I think that's a very opinionated answer there. I'd be just curious to see what you guys think. I look forward to talking about that in lessons as well and seeing what we say in class. But well done with that. Just pointing out again, extend and deepen doesn't mean a harder text or longer text. The extend and deepen is because you haven't looked at the text, so you've got more things to do. You've got to understand it for yourself. Actually, I think the practice apply text was harder, but we had a chance to analyse it, didn't we? So, well done with that. Fantastic for doing your reading this week. Well done.